spent 6 months in the UK, and after a sad ending to that 6 months, we got to talking last night and realized we really miss a lot of things about the UK.
So we made a little list of, the top 10 things that we missed.
Here they are. And I'm actually gonna make it 11 because I just thought of one right now.
Okay.
That is maybe a little bit of a silly one, but I really miss it. And it's fossils and looking for fossils, which is a little bit silly, but I love it so much. When we went to the UK last year, one of the first things that we did was we met up with our friends Jason and Josh, who have a channel called JJ Extra, and we met them and took a trip to Dorset together and explored the Jurassic Coast.
Yeah.
And it was amazing. It was so beautiful. There were so many just neat things to see there. But one of the things that I fell in love with that I had no idea that you could do in the UK was we went looking for ammonites and fossils.
Kylie likes the weather, but she's not as much into the fossil hunting aspect.
I found what I think is a sea urchin. I really, really want to find an ammonite. I still haven't.
No.
We've done it a couple other times. But I just think it's so cool that you can do that.
Yeah, we almost broke down and bought one a couple of times, but we haven't yet. We haven't.
I'm still on the mission to find one
your
on
own.
my own, yeah. In the US, there are dinosaur national monument.
Yeah.
There's a national park on the border of Utah and Colorado
yeah.
that has this big quarry that you can see all of these dinosaur bones in, but you can't take them home. And
No.
that's a shame.
No, I don't think you can really take dinosaur bones home here unless you find them in a random place.
Yeah, I don't know. I mean, I'm sure
Private
maybe
property or something.
somewhere that might exist. But I just think I think the thing that's so special about looking for fossils in the UK is that you can do it in so many places, and they actually let
Encourage
you.
it,
Yeah,
yeah.
they encourage you because there's just so many that can be found that they're not worried about preserving so many more because you can just find them. They just appear all the time. It's just amazing. It's incredible.
Something I really missed, and it seems to be something that's in Europe as well, but definitely not so much in the US, is like the pub culture. And we have pubs here, but it's not quite the same. People like go and have a drink and socialize and hang out and eat some food, and just you can meet some really cool people, and I just feel like that's not what happens in the US. It's just like a bar, or you do go get food, which can be good here as well, but it's just, I don't know, it doesn't have the same feeling of like making friends and meeting new people and stuff for me.
Today's video is sponsored by BetterHelp. Mental health is something very personal to me, and therapy has been an absolute game changer. I started my journey with BetterHelp last year after I was noticing that I was having a lot of extra anxiety. And I can't emphasize enough how much it's helped to have a licensed therapist who's there to listen, provide guidance, and offer unbiased support. Whether it's anxiety, depression, or the everyday stress of life, we all face challenges with our mental well-being at some point. BetterHelp is an online platform that connects you with professional therapists who specialize in addressing the unique struggles that you're facing. I found the process incredibly easy. You simply go to their website, betterhelp.com/themagicgeekdom, and answer a few questions. BetterHelp then matches you with a licensed therapist who's experienced in dealing with issues like yours. The best part? You can do it all from the comfort of your own home. BetterHelp lets you have therapy sessions as a phone call, a video chat, or even messaging. Whatever's the most comfortable version of therapy for you. For me, I prefer a weekly video chat, but I also love that I can message with my therapist throughout the week. From managing my anxiety to navigating life's ups and downs, having a therapist who's been there to support me every step of the way has made all the difference. Join over 4 million people who have used BetterHelp to live a healthier, happier life. Click the link in the description or go to betterhelp.com/themagicgeekdom. Clicking that link helps support this channel, and it also gets you 10% off your first month of BetterHelp. So you can connect with a therapist and see if it helps you. You know what I think about on the regular about what I miss?
What's that?
Fish and chips.
There.
We have fish and chips in the US.
And there's some alright ones, like
Yeah.
some decent ones.
But it's not a proper fish and chips.
It's not.
It just isn't. I think we, as Americans, we have this, I think it's a misconception that we do fish and chips really good. And we can.
There's
we
some
have.
exceptions, yeah.
But it's not the same. Like, we don't take that big, nice fillet of fish and just like lay it on top of like a nice, perfectly crispy chips, those nice chunky chips. Like, we don't really do that. Like, you have to specifically seek out like a British pub in the US to really get that same experience.
And there are some Chippies, few and far between, but they're pretty hard to find here.
Yeah, that's true. That's true. And yeah, I mean, normally you just find like little, like, here's some little fish strips that look like little chicken strips or something. And they can be good, but they are not the same. And yeah.
Most of the time you're going to find fries here, which are not chips. They're just not. I mean, I like a French fry, but they're not chips.
Yeah, it's true. Then also you love your chip shop curry sauce.
I do.
Which is very hard to find here. We still haven't found it yet, although we have been told it exists in the US, so we'll have to look for it at some point. But it is interesting just how many food items that I miss specifically from the UK. It's just funny to me how many misconceptions about British food that the UK has, because I think we have had so much excellent food. And man, if I don't crave a cream tea like every week, I mean, I do.
Miss a cream tea.
Yeah.
I do definitely miss a cream tea.
We do scones here, but we don't do them the same.
They're not the same.
And we do not do clotted cream.
I've made it, and it wasn't bad.
But that's a lot of effort.
But it's a lot of effort.
When you could just go to a nice little tea shop and have a scone and some clotted cream.
Yeah.
And some real nice jam.
Yeah.
Yeah. I don't know. I feel like that's a big thing that's going to be a problem, that I think we got so used to being able to just have fish and chips every day, or I mean, not every day, but just,
but it was available.
Yeah, like it was like, ooh, I could go for a pasty. Well, I don't know where I could go for a pasty at in the United States. Oh, Arizona. We did find the Cornish pasties
Company
in Arizona. Yeah. I guess to kind of like stack onto this, because it's another food related thing, but I think just the quality of food is so much better in the UK.
In general, yeah.
Just everywhere we went, we had really, really good food.
I feel like a lot of times you go to a restaurant in the US, and especially like a chain restaurant or something, where you can tell that this isn't really fresh. This thing was frozen before you ate it, or like they boiled it in a bag, or something kind of sad like that. But when you go to like a pub or something, like you can have those fresh, like nice meat pies and the fish and chips and you know, just some good, almost more like home cooking food. Like it's just, I just miss it.
Yeah, definitely. There's definitely a difference in quality that I didn't notice when we just went over for a short trip. That I definitely now can see the difference. I promise we have other things besides food, but this is one of my favorite things that kind of segues into another thing on this list, and that is Picky Bits. I love Picky Bits. First of all, we did not know that Picky Bits was a saying or a thing.
At first,
yeah. It was only our friends Jason and Josh that taught us about Picky Bits. And we ended up having this kind of tradition with them, which was to get together and have Picky Bits. If you are not familiar, it's kind of like hors d'oeuvres. You're just gonna like little pick at stuff, like when you go to like a potluck or something, I guess.
Sort of, yeah. Or like not necessarily always like a charcuterie thing, but that's usually a part of it. But then you could have little, I don't know, little chips or something that you would reheat or something, but also, yeah, just some nice cheese and meats and maybe some crackers.
Or biscuits. Yeah, I think I've learned about some of the Picky Bits that we've learned about from Jason and Josh, like the Spanish tortilla. Oof, chef's kiss. How did I not know that existed before? Or like some of like just those meats that are really
chorizo.
Nice. Yeah, we learned about the baked camembert, which that has changed my life. We can find it in the US, but unfortunately it is $13. Yeah, it is not the economical little Picky Bit situation that it was for us in the UK, but
And like I knew about chorizo. I liked chorizo here, like Mexican chorizo, but like you can be there and have Spanish chorizo, which is equally delicious in a different way.
Yeah.
It's delightful.
Really good. And I think that the thing about Picky Bits that makes me miss it so much is not just, okay, one, you have the name of it, which is just, in my opinion,
you
brilliant.
Love to say
I love
Picky Bits.
Picky Bits, yes. It's just such a, like, quintessential, like, British, like, coining of a phrase, you know? Like, I don't think an American could come up with Picky Bits. And that's what makes it so delightful to me.
Fair.
But also, you have the fact that, like, it's a more communal thing. It, like, reminds me of times of spending time with our friends.
Yeah.
And just kind of, like, getting together and doing that kind of, I don't know, like, it made it more exciting to be able to be there for a while and actually get to enjoy time with people that we only get to see, like, maybe once a year.
Yeah, and hang out and have nice food and maybe a beer or a cider or a spirit of some sort, and just hang out and talk and have some nice food.
Yeah. So I think that's also, I think one of the things that I miss is, like, it was nice to be able to, I mean, we've met people in the UK that, like, we've gotten to know. Like, we met people that have, you know, we've met some of you. We got to, you know, meet up with people that we've talked to on the internet before and actually got to, like, go have drinks with them. Yeah. So, like, it's just been, it was so nice to be able to spend enough time there to do that. And then, you know, just having, you know, like, being, like, walking down the street and having somebody that watches our channel come up to us and just, you know, start talking to them. Like, it was just really amazing to be able to meet so many people and get to
know people that we kind of had interactions with before, but meet them personally.
And I get that this is, like, that is a very specific thing to our experience.
Yeah, fair.
But I just think that that also goes to show just, like, how much I appreciate the culture and just, I don't know, I do feel like it's easy to make friends with people. And
I think it's more kind, a weird way to say it, or an incorrect way to, but just, like, more open to talk to new people, I feel like, than people are here a lot of the time.
And maybe part of that has to do with the fact that we're all in our cars and, like, we don't have those, like, more communal experiences where, like, everything, I mean, it's like
true.
Getting from point A to point B, you're in a car. You're not taking a train somewhere where, like, we've met people on a train. Yeah, just, like, having a conversation with people on a train.
Or at the train station.
Yeah.
Or walking down the street. Like, there's a lot less people that drive there, which, yeah, I think you're right. That does kind of drive you to talk to more people.
Yeah. I don't know. I think that I kind of miss that cultural aspect of the experience that we had there. And I kind of feel like I took it for granted while we were there because I didn't realize that I was going to miss it so much.
Yeah.
What else we got? What do you got? Oh, I've got one. I looked at my list I made last night. My next one, I think, is a really good one. And it's not just sheep, but it is also sheep. But, okay, hear me out. We have sheep in the US, but we do not have that many sheep. Like, you don't just go driving down the country road and see sheep. Like, you might see some cows, you might see some horses, maybe a goat, maybe, I don't know, or like a llama. But we just, I don't know, like, when's the last time you drove down a road in the US, like a nice country road, and saw, like, a field of sheep?
Not very often.
No. And I think that probably to people in the UK, that might seem kind of silly. Like, I mean, we've gotten comments on it before about my weird obsession with sheep, but it's because we just don't have that. Like, we just don't.
Well, and I think part of that is, like, farmland here. You have a large tract of farmland because there is so much space when you get out in the middle of, say, you're in Utah or Washington or something that has large rural areas. If you have this huge piece of land, your sheep probably aren't right by the road where you can drive by them if you have sheep.
I
bet there's
true,
probably a little bit more sheep than you think, but they're just not out where you can see them while you're driving by the fields.
That's fair, because sometimes we do see cows and we do see horses. Like, cows is fairly common.
Yeah.
But also you think about the fact that we probably eat a lot more beef as a ratio. Like, we don't really eat
nearly as much lamb.
or anything. Yeah. But I also think to tie into that, it's not just the sheep, it's just like the way the countryside looks. When I close my eyes and I think of like a nice, peaceful, wonderful place, I picture the English countryside, or like not just England, like the Scottish countryside or Welsh countryside is equally nice. We haven't made it to Northern Ireland yet, but I assume that it's gonna be similar. But I just think it's so picturesque. I love the stone walls. You don't see anything that looks like that. Like, you don't see like a 800-year-old little cottage on the side of a farm, like farmland here. It's something that we don't ever see. And so every time I do see it, I get very excited and I just think, I love this.
Because we don't have things that are 800 years old at all.
We have a few.
Well, not really. Also, and some of you guys have commented before that like, they'll tear down a 100-plus-year-old house here to build a Walmart. Like, you guys kind of respect that a little bit more. I feel like in the UK, older buildings are kind of respected and like treated better, sort of.
Yeah.
Like, not that we don't have like historic houses and things like that here, but I feel like in the UK, it's just there's so much more of it, and you just care about it a little more than the people here tend to. One thing I miss about the UK is definitely how pet-friendly it seems to be for most things. Like, Carly could go into most restaurants, pretty much every pub, a lot of hotels. There was even points where, she could go into a castle, or at least castle grounds, and that's just a really cool thing. And a lot of people would stop and talk to us and ask about her, or ask if they could pet her and meet her, and I think that goes back to like the warmth thing, like meeting people, but also it's just really nice to be able to go someplace where she could go most places with us.
Carly is just sitting here at the end of the bar. She looks like she's waiting for something. You waiting for them to bring your pizza? Is that what you're waiting for?
The fact that even Carly made friends when we were out and about, like Carly made dog friends, specifically when we were in Robin Hood's Bay.
Millie.
She made friends with a dog named Millie.
Who was very cute.
I think everything was just so easy. I think train travel with her was so easy. There are places that don't allow pets or dogs, but in general, I just felt like not only were places more open to having dogs in the establishment, but those places often had people who were so much more interactive with her. And like, we went to a pub and they brought her a
bowl of meat.
A little Sunday roast. She did not eat the...
That's true, there was vegetables.
Was it carrots or peas? She didn't eat all of it,
yeah,
but
she picked out carrots or peas. She ate one and picked one out. I don't remember which was which now.
But I just thought that was so sweet. Until that point, we had never had any kind of experience like that. I got two more. This was one I came up with last night when we were talking about this. Markets. And I just think that,
street markets and food markets.
Yeah, street markets, food markets. Like, London has so many. We've only experienced a handful of them. So many neat markets. Like, there would be sometimes where we'd just be in a small town or village and we'd happen to be there on a Saturday and they'd be having a little market in town. And I don't know, I feel like that's so underappreciated. They're different from anything even here.
And I mean, we have similar things, but I feel like they're just more common. And you can find such like cool little tchotchkes or like awesome food things you can either buy and eat there or take home. And just some really great quality things too.
Yeah, the downside to cool markets is finding stuff that we can't bring home.
True.
But yeah, I do really appreciate all of the different markets that we've seen all over the place, but especially like London. And every time we talk about London, people always are like, oh, there's so much more to England. There's so much more to the UK. And there is, but London has some amazing things like Borough Market and Camden Market. I'm a big fan of all those markets, and I think that's definitely a highlight if you're going to be in London to make sure that you visit at least one of them.
At least one, yeah.
One left. I guess this one's probably also mine. I said words that we got used to saying. This kind of
You're
ties
silly.
in with the picky bits, but it's true. I felt like when we left the UK and when we were still there, that I had all of these adopted phrases that I started using, like car park, and, you know, instead of using, you know, like, I mean, parking lot sounds lame. Parking lot is not a cool word.
Okay.
Car park is just so much better.
Fair.
It makes more sense. It's where you park the car.
I get it.
Yeah.
The lift.
Yeah, the lift. Like, I got so used to saying words that we said there that I miss that we don't say them anymore. Like, we've already lost that, and I'm sad about it. I really...
You miss putting things in the boot, but...
Yeah, I feel like I thought I was so clever too, because like we'd be hanging out with one of our friends or something, and I'd be like, "Oh, the boot, haha, not the trunk, it's the boot, haha, see what I did there?" And maybe I just missed the fact that I felt like I was like in on a cool secret or something. I don't know, but I do love learning about the different words that we use for different things, and I mean, more than just saying the words, like I just love that experience of learning about some of our cultural differences and how we all speak English, and yet our English is so different,
yeah.
in so many ways. We apparently like to remove letters that
you guys use.
you use, yeah.
I was thinking there's something we say to each other a lot, but we were talking about it, and now I can't remember what it was.
I can't remember either.
That is very much like the UK version of something.
Yeah. I mean, we definitely got used to saying a lot of, like, you know, toilet roll instead of toilet paper,
Yeah.
kitchen roll
Kitchen
instead
roll,
of
yeah.
paper towels. I don't know. Oh, I think there are also things that I've learned, like people talking about like overtaking on the freeway.
Oh, yeah.
I don't know that I ever actually learned the word for that. It was just like, don't pass people in the slow lane. It's like, oh, that's undertaking. I never knew that before until some of you left some comments about it when we first drove in the UK. So I don't know. I'm just always amazed at the things that I learn about our differences, and I like to learn them. That's it. That's the thing. That's the thing I miss, is learning about our differences in the words that we use all the time, and I miss learning about different like slang and things like that. That wraps up our list. I do believe this has been 11 things now that I added fossils at the beginning, but I do think it's a good one because it's one of those things that as an American, I never knew that existed. I never knew about Mary Anning. Is that her name?
Yeah, with her sandwich.
With her sandwich. She's holding a fossil or an ammonite.
Not a sandwich.
But when our friend Jason sent us a picture, I definitely thought it was a sandwich. I would love to know if you've ever been to the US and if there are any things that you miss vice versa in a reverse order. Because I feel like coming back to the US versus being in a place that we maybe enjoy, I don't know, a little bit more. I'm not sure. But it is
Equally
an
but
interesting,
different?
yeah,
I have no idea.
it's an interesting thing. And so I'm just curious what kind of comparisons that you have made if you've traveled between the two. Definitely let us know.
Yeah.
Thank you again to BetterHelp for sponsoring our video.
Thank you to our patrons for always coming along on the adventures and supporting us. If you're interested in extra videos or videos early, we do have Patreon. You can check that in the description. And I think you should watch the video where we talked about what it was like to spend 6 months in the UK, and that's right over here.